Good morning, listeners. Welcome to a special and different kind of very short space show program. I'm your host, David Livingston. Thank you for listening on archives and viewing, and certainly special thanks to Space Show listeners, supporters, and longtime friends that are here with us in this meeting. Um, for those of you that listen frequently, you do know that the Space Show is a nonprofit 501c3 with One Giant Leap Foundation. If you're new to the Space Show, we are a nonprofit and we are 100% listener and user supported and funded. So every year between Thanksgiving and December 31st, we have an annual fundraising campaign. And I send out lots and lots and lots of notes asking people to support us. And sometimes a couple of longtime friends and supporters will record a little MP3 message that we play, audio for the most part. But this time I thought that instead of you getting a note from me or another fundraising letter, I would instead let you hear from some of the really long time Space Show listeners and funders. Listeners, this gentleman here is Dr. Haym Benaroya, is our Rutgers professor friend. This is Bob Zimmerman, who you all know to either love or hate. He has a great website, Behind the Black. John Hunt is our specialist in physics, UAP, extraterrestrials. He will go crazy with our upcoming Friday show. Bill Gowan, who has helped me
Time for me to go
master
in there.
technology. Peter Foreman, John Jossy, our space settlement expert, also
Okay.
my
Right.
technology person, and Dr. Sherry Bell. And then this is AJ, who um, is having trouble sitting still for the moment. Peter, why don't you lead us off, and what are your space show comments to listeners and viewers out there?
Sure, absolutely, David. So, to the listening public, what makes the space show special? One, it's been on the air for over 30 years, which alone is an incredible achievement and milestone. Um, every week you have, David, leading industry experts from all different aspects of the space and space-related industries. But equally importantly, the other people that you see in this Zoom today, in this YouTube podcast, are a group of advisors with real depth of experience who can serve to augment what the experts who appear say, but also to challenge them. Where else do you get a call-in show where you have that type of dynamic occurring? And the experts who I'm honored to serve with here are an incredibly knowledgeable group who can help dissect the issues. This is a space show that covers space aeronautics, the launch industry, spaceship development, competitive private industries, the economics of the space business, moon colonization, Mars colonization and its challenges, cislunar space, challenges of human production in micro or no gravity, artificial gravity, space ethics, and so many more topics. So I'm deeply appreciative of the show, um, and this is an incredible resource. I would say that I think after I finish in a second, David, maybe you would go around calling others, ask what they love about the show, and also why is the space industry such an important industry for us to support? And derivatively, how this program helps advance the needs of both the American and the international space development worlds. I would encourage my esteemed and brilliant peers to share their thoughts and to interact with others today. And thank you, David, for having hosted this for these many decades and continuing to do so. Back to
Thank you,
you.
Peter. And I'd like to go to Dr. Sherry Bell because Sherry, but also Dr. Benaroya, and I have been in relationships since before the space show ever started. So Sherry and I met at different conferences, probably Space Frontier Foundation, maybe Mars Society conferences, when there was no concept of the space show. In fact, I think with Sherry, as well as with Dr. Benaroya, I was still writing my Doctor of Business Administration dissertation on expanding commercial space and space tourism. That was in the late 90s. And Sherry and I have been friends, and she's been a listener and a supporter and a pal ever since. And she's a dinner and sort of gambling partner since we both live in Las Vegas. She keeps trying to show me how to use newfangled slot machines, but there seems to be a resistance block here. Sherry, welcome and thank you. Your thoughts on the space show and your reasons for continuing to support it and listen to it.
Well, I think mostly it's the variety of the guests that you have that no one else has that same broad variety that you do. And I like the platform because the ability to one on one be able to speak with the guest, and that's important. And the guests, typically, the guests are very happy to answer questions, and I learn a lot from that. I actually learn a lot from that. Let's see. I have learned about different businesses and different products and different aspects of the space community at large a lot more than I would have without the space show. Uh, so things that I wouldn't have heard of, I know now a little bit about because of the space show because you've had them on as a guest, and I think I know seem like this is probably evident to us, but maybe not to others, that David Livingston is probably the best informed person on the planet insofar as the variety of things going on in the space world. Dave is more familiar than anyone else that I know, even journalists, who work for like Spacecom and things. David has more familiarity and a greater depth of understanding of the different things because of the uh, format that he uses. He doesn't just blah blah blah. 15 minutes. He goes on for an hour or two, and so he develops a far deeper understanding of uh, of issues than anyone else that I know. And those are my primary reasons.
Thank you, Sherry. And before I go to the others, I'm going to go to my other really, really old time friend, Dr. Benaroya. We used to sit in the bar at the Hilton Hotel in Albuquerque with a lot of others talking about everything you can imagine, including, given that we were in New Mexico, UFOs and aliens and breakthrough technology propulsion. Some of the people we used to talk with who we really admired and respected are unfortunately no longer with us. That's how far back Haym and I go. And I've spoken to his class before at Rutgers. Haym, welcome. Thank you for saying why you support and listen to the space show. You're muted.
Thanks, David. Yeah, it's hard to believe that I think we met at Space 88 in Albuquerque, and that was before the space show started, I believe.
Yeah, 98. It's Space 98, not 88.
Oh, Space 98?
Yeah,
Okay. I guess that was the first space show. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, so I guess I would say that David is a longtime friend. The show is exceptional in the way that it brings the lay public in contact with people who are the leaders in the field. Um, it's the space show is a major force in the space community, setting the direction of thinking of many of the leaders of the space community. It sets the tone, um, both for companies and for government, just by virtue of the breadth of people that are invited to the space show. It's certainly a motivating force for the next generation. One of the challenges in space and just talking about lunar habitats, which is my area. And David and all of you here have gone through this up and down cycle with every new administration. We're going to the moon, we're not going to the moon, we're going to Mars, we're changing direction, back and forth, back and forth. Maybe we're at the cusp of going back to the moon. But so motivating the next generation is actually, even though I know my students are very excited about space, I think seeing activity, real-time activity, human time activity scale is very important. I know that David has called me on the space show as my students and I work on different projects. And in fact, a couple of times he invited some of my students to come on as well, which was very exciting for them, and they spoke very well. So David is also a promoter of those of us in the field, putting out our ideas. If we wrote a book, making it public. So I know that that's a major part of that. And I agree with what Sherry said, that David is I think the most informed person about space. Sometimes I'm just amazed at all the facts and figures that he knows, all the people that he knows. He knows, I think, everybody in space. So I found it really very easy to decide to promote and support the space show all these years, and I will continue to do that. And I think anybody who's interested in space really should consider putting some of their resources into the space show, because the return is really huge. It really has a major impact. So I'm glad to be David's friend and a supporter of the space show, and I will continue to be both. Thank you, David.
Thank you. And I guess as we go around the room, Bob Zimmerman, who hands behind the black nut, he is the only guest we have that is loved and hated at the same time. Because Bob has an undeniable, unending thirst for liberty and independence. And sometimes he gets wound up and lets it all out on the space show. But Bob and I also go way, way back to an NSS meeting in Washington, D.C. I don't know when that was, but probably 20 plus years ago or something.
That was about 1998 or so, David,
Around the same
99,
time.
something like that.
Bob, what do you have to say to our
Well,
guests?
the theme that everyone so far has spoken is the wide range of guests that you have. And I have a personal perspective on that. As you know, David, I think I've been your guest more than anybody else. I've been on your show at least once to three times a year since '03. So that goes back almost to the beginning of the show, and which of course I greatly appreciate. And this has to do with that breadth of guests you have. Our society is less tolerant of a wide range of opinions nowadays, and I've personally experienced that problem. And you welcome everybody. You want everyone to get a chance to speak, everyone to get their points of view out. You let them speak and you give them the chance. And this is something that is critical if we are to get to have a spacefaring society, because you can't, engineering is hard, building new societies on other worlds is hard. And if you limit the debate on how to do it, you're going to make terrible mistakes. And of course, you're going to slow things down because you won't be able to think things, come up with good ideas, because you're going to be blocking new ideas. And you and the space show, more than anything else, represents that old American value of an open-minded, open marketplace of ideas. And that allows, more than anything else, for the space activist community as well as the space industry to grow and succeed. And so I really do strongly beg people to support your show and continue to do so very deeply, sincerely.
Dr. Kothari, AJ, we've known each other for 5 or 6 years, something like that. You're a faithful supporter, friend, listener, and frequent guest. You have really great engineering ideas and other things. What do you say to people about the space show?
Well, I think the the most important thing that I want to say about Dr. David Livingston is that he has been doing this pro bono with just meager support from all these all of us, I suppose, and other people also, which is incredible, and it's very, very, very hard to come by these days in this country or anywhere else, actually. And so I really appreciate very much what he has been doing in in addition to what it is that he does. So the whole idea behind doing this so selflessly by Dr. David Livingston for last 24 years, and I've been supporting him for 10 years, and I'll support him for till I, well, whatever, till I'm not able to, then I am done. But I just really think that uh, people listening, and the thing is that what he is doing, this service that he's doing pro bono, selflessly, is incredible. It's incredible in the sense that he's bringing a lot of the people on his show. Obviously, we have Mike Griffin coming on Tuesday, etc. But all the other people that he has brought on the show and talk about all these things, it's very important for the space community to listen to and to just listen to and forget about learning from it or anything, but even to just listen to. And that is what Dr. David Livingston has done. If without him, we would not be able to do this. This is an incredible thing that he has done, and supporting him. I mean, I've been supporting him for last. I think David. I think it's more than 5 years. It's more like 10 years that we have known each other. But it's just been. It's my honor, not just pleasure, but my honor to support someone like Dr. David Livingston. So I really appreciate and I really request all the people listening, whoever is able to listen, to support this activity that he has been doing for free, for pro bono, for selflessly. Is a I if I may say so, you are a great man, David. Thank you.
Thank you. So the other three on the program, Bill Gowan, John Hunt, and John Jossy, I've had the honor of meeting at space conferences. So of the nearly 4,500 programs I've done, and there's probably maybe 3,500 original guests because a lot of people have repeat performances. I don't always get to meet them in person, so for me it's a real honor and treat. But John Jossy, Bill Gowan, and John Hunt, I have been honored to meet in person because we attend space conferences at the same time, planned in advance probably. So it's a real treat. So either of you three want to go next and talk about uh, your thoughts with the space show? And uh, Bill, you can tell them about my technical prowess, which is unsurpassed. Why don't you go ahead?
Well, I'll be glad to jump in. And, I really second all the comments that I've heard so far. And to the listeners and the viewers, I think what I would say is, to me, I think one of the biggest reasons for donating to the show is just a simple matter of fairness. I feel like if I'm getting something of value, then I need to respond in kind. And I get something that I value from the power company every month, but they send me a bill for it, and nobody's going to come after me if I don't donate to the space show. But I do feel like the equation is the same, right? Because Dr. Livingston has real costs associated with putting on the show, and if people like us that enjoy it don't take advantage of the opportunity to help him out with those costs, then the show will go away. This thing of the value will go away, and we've heard a lot of reasons why the show is of value to people. And I will try not to repeat those, but I'll hit on what David just said a second ago. 4,500 programs. So 4,500 shows. I mean, that the archives of this series, it's just a godsend to researchers, biographers, and people in the future. This amazing variety of guests that have been on the show and that will continue to be on the show. So those are some of my thoughts about why we all should consider donating to the space show.
thank you. John Hunt, you want to go next?
Okay, yes. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what people have been saying here. I mean, when you think about that, you can actually be on a show where you can actually ask questions of somebody like Mike Griffin or Mark Shotwell of SpaceX sometimes, or other leading experts, scientists, and so forth. It's a diverse group, like they're saying, and so that's one thing that's really great about it. It's I've been involved in the space show, I guess, almost 15 years now, I believe, and it's become kind of a regular part of my life to participate in this and listen to it, and to support it also. And so, yeah, it's there's a lot of value here. Like the part about the history, all the archive shows, that is a real treasure there. Which I think they've had a little trouble with people trying to get in there and get it from these people at Harvest Data and so forth. But I think we're doing better on that now. So yeah, go ahead and contribute. Another thing to mention, of course, is there's a charitable thing, so it's tax deductible. I don't always mention it yet, but if you contribute before the end of the year, you can deduct it against your 2025 taxes. And if you right after the first year, even if you're not itemizing, you can deduct under the new tax laws. I'd mention that as an encouragement to contribute and contribute what you can. It wouldn't have to be a lot, or it could be a lot, whichever you prefer. So that's kind of think. And I've had the privilege a couple of times to do a show on here too about topics I was interested in. And if you have, so that's a real value, I think, to me. And so, yeah, Dave has done a great job, and they got this lifetime service award from the National Space Society a couple of years ago. So he's highly recognized, and like I said, I've learned a lot here because my main focus was on advanced propulsion when I got into it, following it, and I've learned a lot about things like space medicine and things of that sort that I was not as knowledgeable as I should have been about, and that's been a major gain, I think. Just all kind of STEM topics come up as well. So, anyway, I just encourage everybody to support the show.
Thank you. And while John Jossy is last, he's one of my absolute closest, dearest friends and resources for the space show and future programs and guests. He is an unbelievable resource and knowledge on space and space settlement. And he's really a great guy. John, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, thank you so much, David. I was first introduced to the space show when I happened to come across Hotel Mars with John Batchelor on talk radio in the early 2010s. And I had been a space enthusiast for most of my life, having grown up with Star Trek and read O'Neill's High Frontier, which led me to become an early supporter of the Space Studies Institute and a member of the National Space Society. So naturally, I was immediately hooked on the space show, and I listened regularly to archived episodes during my commute prior to my retirement here in Silicon Valley. So my ride up 880 in the Bay Area was with David and his guests, and I over time I became a frequent caller, and eventually a close friend of David. The guests on his show have had a profound impact on my life, inspiring me to become more involved in space advocacy efforts, including participation in the Alliance for Space Development's March Storm back in 2015, and giving talks at ISDC at David's prompting, and of course, the creation of my blog was right out of the space show. So I think what keeps me engaged is the caliber of the guests that David has on the show and his coverage of all aspects of space exploration, commerce, policy, and development. I think what I like most about the show is David educates the public on the value of space and how much an impact it has on our daily lives. So as a space enthusiast, I appreciate the opportunity to participate in discussions with aerospace and space science experts on topics that advance our progress toward becoming a spacefaring civilization. I especially value the show's focus on cutting edge technologies and human factors essential for sustainable space development or space settlement. And I believe the next stage of human evolution will be shaped by our migration out into the solar system and eventually to the stars. So the space show remains at the forefront of this grand adventure, providing high quality interviews with the world's leading science and policy experts. The space show's regular programming and huge archive history is a treasure, like John Hunt says, to our country and frankly, the world. So support for the space show ensures that it will continue in its 25th year and beyond, serving as a beacon of public education on space and a chronicle of our journey to the high frontier. So thank you so much, David, for all you do. And to all the listeners, please continue that support. We need to keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, thank you to all of you. We have a few minutes left. So first of all, hopefully you will support the space show and you will come to understand that, and everyone on this show, but I mean, millions of people around the world really do understand that space is the doorway to a better humanity, no matter where you live on this earth. See, you can live in a crappy country in Africa, and because of space resources, pharmacy, medicine, human research for better health, that comes to you. Telemedicine comes to you through space resources and satellites. There's no place on Earth where space does not have the potential, if it's not already doing so, to make humanity better. And we need more of it, and we need more participatory groups in it, and we need more people to understand it. And we stress that on the space show. So if you do want to support us, and we hope you do, the easiest way to do so is to go to our website, which is thespaceshow.com. On the far right side, sort of upper section, is a big PayPal button. So you can use PayPal. We also accept Zelle, but Zelle is only for United States banks. If you do participate and use Zelle, or if you want to set it up with your bank, I think most every bank has a Zelle program. It's really simple, but we have a special email address which works with Zelle, and that is David at giantleapfoundation.org, which is our parent 501c3, onegiantleapfoundation.org. And then if you are old school and you want to send a check, please make it payable to One Giant Leap Foundation. We're located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and our Las Vegas, Nevada mailing address is on that PayPal button. So that is really the easiest way for you to support us. You can always email for assistance questions, Dr. Space, DRSPACE at the space show, one word, .com. Guys, we've got a few more minutes. Do you, as a group, want to mix it up or say anything or fill in the blanks of something that we might have missed? Just speak up.
I'd like to add one thing, David, which hasn't come up in terms of the wide range of guests you've had. You were one of the early advocates of the idea of private enterprise in space rather than depending on government. And that's one of the reasons you have such a wide range of guests, because you're willing to give support to that aspect back in the late 90s, early aughts, when a lot of people refused to consider it even conceivable. And I think we should remember that, and thank you for that, because it is one of the reasons there's been such a renaissance now in space, because you've been supporting that for 25 years.
That was the part of the title of my DBA doctoral dissertation, was expanding commercial space. So back in 1995, 96, 94, that was a giggle factor comment. Everybody made fun of it. Time Magazine, Newsweek, all of it, just poked fun at it. And my graduate school, which is Golden Gate University in San Francisco, if it were not for my having had the wisdom to go outside my school for dissertation advisors, and I went to Stanford for a satellite engineer, Dr. Bruce Lusinian, and he led me to the head of Boeing Commercial Space at the time, Harvey Willenberg. Were it not for those two who understood the space vision and what privatizing space would mean in the future, I probably would have not been approved, because thinking about private sector in space was Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop, McDonnell Douglas, whatever the companies were back in the mid 90s, late 80s, and all of that. And everything else really was a laugh factor, a giggle factor. And when I added space tourism to that topic, boy, the giggle factors went off the stage. But no one's laughing now, so things can change, and a lot of people have helped make that happen, not just here in the U.S., but elsewhere as well. Any other final comments that anyone wants to speak up and say and offer?
I'll offer one, David. Yeah, I think this year's been kind of notable. You're always dealing with equipment issues, and this year I think you had a pretty catastrophic equipment issue that led to you could have responded to that in any number of ways, including stopping. But what you chose to do was to transition over to the Zoom format, which I think has actually in many ways turned out to be a good thing, because you're getting some additional voices into the mix, which is good. I think the audio quality is better than it was when you were using a purely telephone-based system. And so I think, whether people watch the recordings or listen to it as an audio podcast, I think the audio has improved. So I think that's worth noting, and and maybe you might have a word or two to say about your thoughts for the technical aspects in 2026.
Um, so we also went to Substack, and we also went to YouTube. So we really have a huge global presence and platform now, right now. So as
Yes, and another thing I'll note there is that if people are watching or listening on Substack or YouTube, they should subscribe to the program on both platforms.
Thank you. So for 2026, I want to expand and put the space show on active social media. I'd like it to reach a younger audience. I'd like to go for the TikTok audience. I'd like it to go to Instagram. Obviously, I'm going to need help with people who know how to work those platforms to do it. I want to get automatic archives flowing over to Facebook and to LinkedIn. And I'd like to engage younger people with real science, the ability to watch and listen to critical thinking and serious due diligence, and not just by me, but by all of the people that are on this program, but also our guest, and also pick up when a guest doesn't do any of this. You'll be able to tell, and you can probably sense that you're being strung along on a nonsense trail, or magical thinking trail, as we like to say, or a fantasy trail, because the space show is really good about letting people be terrific experts in the field or the biggest fools ever in the field. They get the choice. We kind of help them go along with whatever they choose. So I look for expanding into a younger audience in 2026 with help from people who can help me do that and bring the space show to more people and different people, and to bring them into science, into why space matters, instead of some of the things we hear in budget considerations about we can't go to the moon for this financial reason or that financial reason. Our future depends on going to the moon, doing pharmaceuticals in space, Mars, Cislunar, all of that. And the space show wants to help put that in front of people as maybe an alternative to some of the other stuff that they hear. So I think 2026 will be a real active year, but everybody out there listening, remember we're listener and user supported 100%. So our dreams and our goals and our ideas are based upon people out there sharing the value of what we're doing, joining our family. I do consider it a family, and helping us to get there. I can't tell you how many times a listener has come forward that I've never heard before and helped me create a new website, for example, 10 years ago, and or who has helped me do something else that I did not know how to do or how to reach that market. So support and help comes from all over the board with the Space Show family, not just from the Sherry and the others here on this video. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Does anybody have an additional comment or suggestion or message you want to give before we close it down?
I want to say that uh, among other things, that what David has done is to really address current topics, um, and in a current environment and time. For example, we are having this issues now with going to the moon and being there before China or around the same time as China, but not just to go there, but to put infrastructure and all those, to settlements and all those. And David has taken that up, and it's because of David that we are able to discuss all that and give some ideas, our viewpoints, and other things that are possible. Of course, one example is Mike Griffin coming here on Tuesday. But other than that, also we have several other times that we have discussed Artemis 2, Artemis 3, Artemis after that, or going to the moon directly, and other aspects of that problem that we have, the problem that the administration has, the problem that Congress has, and that somehow they have not done the best job. And David has been instrumental in bringing that to the public, which is a real, and of course, again, I'll say, selflessly, pro bono, all of those things. So, any support for David is a really a great gem in this sea of ocean, you know. So please do support David and the space show. Thank
So
you.
I have a concluding comment. Um, so on the lighter side, the space show, myself, but others, and I'll point them out in a minute, this is a really, really super friendly animal and pet show. So Zimmerman here has his cat with us. I
Yeah.
often, he's got more cats too, and they're fine to be on the show. I usually have Pepper, my Siberian Husky here, but she's an older dog and she's sleeping downstairs. So Pepper also often makes appearances. John Jossy often calls me 6:30 in the morning. He's walking his dog in Fremont, taking great risks, what might behold him in the public walking early in the morning, but he's walking his dog. And I know many others have pets and dogs and cats and animals. And we talk about, can we take our pets to Mars with us? Can we, get get consent from the dog or the cat to go to Mars? Since we're going to need consent probably. Um, and it's lighthearted and it's fun, but we may all be space cadets and nerdy engineers and physicists and scientists and who knows what medical doctors and researchers. And we're from all over the world. I have lots of researchers from India on the medical side, for example. And but there is a human side to all of us, and we always reflect this with animals and pets. They're always welcome on the space show. I have lots of guests whose dogs are always barking in the background. So we hope you will support us and join our family, and you can bring your pets on board too. They're certainly welcome on the space show. And I want to thank Dr. Benaroya and Bob Zimmerman, John Hunt, Bill Gowan, Peter Foreman, John Jossy, Dr. Kothari, and Dr. Sherry Bell for helping us out and offering everyone these comments.
Before you end today, since you discussed other people, I am having lunch with my friends who are biologists and oceanologists and all those, and you can see them. And just say hello. Hello.
We
Yeah.
all we see is gibberish, but there are, but
Well, but they are all friends, and they are all. I wanted to. That's what I was doing when I called first, and so I wanted to make sure that 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 everybody is a supporter, not just space scientists.
thank you. And everybody have a very good last Hanukkah candle lighting if you do that. And because that is tonight at sundown. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If I've missed a holiday that you observe, I apologize. Send it to me in an email and I will make sure we don't miss it next year. drspace@thespaceshow.com. And we hope you will support us. Remember, we're a listener user supported platform. And thank you all very much. And thank you for those in this video. By the way, we have a great program coming up, and you can join us by Zoom telephone. I will publish those numbers in a minute. But Michael Listener is our space policy, space lawyer, go-to guy, and he does incredible analysis on issues dealing with the government, with space, with laws, with regulations, with treaties, not just in the United States, but around the world. If you have a chance to listen to Michael live, you can do that on Zoom telephone numbers. Otherwise, he will be archived on all of our platforms, both with audio and video. And again, Dr. Mike Griffin will be with us regarding his Senate testimony. He'll be with us Tuesday evening via Zoom for 1 hour. That's his time frame. So hopefully
That's House testimony. House testimony.
Yeah, so hope you can join us. Yeah, House testimony. So everybody have a great holiday season. Thank you all very much, and goodbye from everybody here. And
Thank you for your leadership, David.
thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.